Alrighty, everybody, welcome to another episode of GameCorp. This is the one and only. I looked. It looked like it wasn't recording,
You already fucked it up, didn't you?
and it looked like it actually wasn't starting. That's why I was about to say no.
I don't care. I do not give flying fuckaronis if the stream's not broadcasting at the moment.
Okay, well, in that case, I fucked up the intro. This is GameCorp. It's your one and only gaming podcast. I am your idiot who doesn't understand that one thing doesn't matter over the other. My name is Matt Hedrick. And that guy who points out all my flaws on a weekly basis is
God.
he's also in this digital space with me. It's not God, although he
God.
thinks he is sometimes. That's Chad Porto. So how's it going, God?
And he says unto his children, so.
What a profound statement.
Dude, my Bible's going to be fucking awesome. The Bible of Bangin' Broads. Chapter 1. You can't, they hate
Find
you.
abroad.
Chapter 2. Fear and self-loathing. Chapter 3. How to overcome fear and self-loathing. Chapter 4. You failed. This was expected. Chapter 5. Resolution. Chapter 6. Acceptance. Chapter 7. Virginity for life. Chapter 8. So you got accidentally drunk and had sex with your best friend who looks kind of like a fat hobbit, but now she's in love with you. Chapter 9. Proposing. Chapter 10. Living with regrets.
It's a long ass book.
It's 24 chapters. Of course it
Jesus.
is. And we're only on 10.
I don't want to see what the other fucking 12, 14 are going to be. Jesus.
I'll give you a hint. Chapter 17. Boats, boats, boats.
That was a hint as to nothing.
Yup. So can you do me a solid and just see what the audio content looks like? Because it's all finicky. Like, it's 900, 800, it's 100, then it's back to 900. But, like, it randomly stopped recording last night, and I don't know, I don't know why. So I would like to avoid that issue today. So the only reason why we're actually still broadcasting on Twitch, a full story, is to get to YouTube. Legit, 100%. It's an easier export, and that's why we're broadcasting on Twitch, because I can just export the show. So as long as we get the Splatterhouse review, which is what I'm exporting over to the channel, in its entirety on Twitch, I'm good. But yeah. So anyway, if you're listening to this, either you downloaded it, you watched it on YouTube, or you're listening live on twitch.tv/comic and GameCorp. You will recognize our voices from the formerly twitch.tv/Real Nerd Corp channel, which is now renamed twitch.tv/Wrestling Underground. And that's because we're diversifying, because it seems like what the thing everyone's doing on the UbiTubes. That's diversified. And our wrestling content gets great numbers. Downloads on Podbean, downloads on iTunes, all views on YouTube, all sorts of shit. But our comic and game stuff, at least on YouTube, does not do as well. And that's partly because the YouTube algorithm kind of keeps every channel in a set box, so to speak. So if you got a gaming channel, if you put something that's not gaming up there, the algorithm does not respect the outcomes. So we had to change some things up, and I made the decision. I didn't even ask anyone. I just did it because fuck it. I work for myself on this website. I only need to ask me, hey, me, yes, other me, would you be all right with me changing all these things? Why, of course, other me. Why would I have a problem with that? Oh, by the by, you're late on this month's rent payment. What do you mean I paid you last month? Yes, but it's a new month. Oh, how silly of me.
To think you're not in a mental institution yet.
Yet. After today, who knows? Who knows?
I mean, as far as like audio coming in goes, it sounds okay from what I can actually hear. The only thing is just the connection, like the delay. It's quite a few seconds, like between what you're saying and what's on the
Yes,
stream.
that's on purpose. It's 2 ms. Usually we're at like 1 or less. I
Okay.
just haven't changed it yet. So as long as the audio is fine, I'm good. So going forward, obviously we're gonna have 2 separate YouTube channels. Right now, I can't change the URL to either.
Mm.
I don't know why. So the best bet is to just click below the video, and you'll see links to the other YouTube channel, or go to realnerdcorp.com, REALNERDCORP.com, and you'll have links to everything you need right there. It's so simple. It's so easy. It's so good. So on this week's show, we're gonna sleepwalk our way through a fucking showcase, and we're gonna talk about Splatterhouse. Every time I say
Oh boy.
Splatterhouse, I think of Ciderhouse. I think of Splatterhouse
Really?
Rules. So I wanted to call this episode Splatterhouse Rules, but not in the way you think.
I was gonna say because I always get a feeling with at least most of the games I pick that they don't rule to you. It's just more of a play on words.
Well, you like picking games that have name value, not, fun. Nice to know.
Fair.
So
It's really hard to argue a point when you make it such a clear one.
it really is. So let's talk about 1988's Splatterhouse by Namco Limited. It was a dark and stormy night in October of 1987 when they decided, hey, let's do a video game. Okay, how about a game where we feature, I know, 2 teens and they're hanging out. Cool. And then they fall in love. I love that idea. And then they go to a big mansion. So good. And they have 14 kids and live happily ever after until they're 104 and they die in the same bed together at the same time. Oh, that's so sweet. And then Namco's like, fuck that noise. She dies, he becomes a mass murderer. We don't want to do that game. Too bad. Namco ruining lives since 1998.
Storytelling for the ages.
Storytelling is fun. So, I think it's World of Long Play we're stealing from. So, essentially, the story of Splatterhouse is pretty simple. You're a rapscallion dating a young, voluptuous gal, and you're running through the woods to escape. I think it's like a storm, and then you go into a haunted house, and then you get killed, and your girlfriend gets stolen.
Mm-hmm.
So you then have to go get her back, but you're dead. So problem. Thankfully, you're in an evil house, so obviously you have evil things that are going to gravitate to you. So you get an evil hockey mask for reasons. It's not an actual hockey mask, but it damn sure looks like one. So then you awaken and you go and you get your girlfriend back, and it's a love story, but it's also a story about being late for a date. All he wanted to do was go to Olive Garden, and she's like, but I'm not really all that hungry for Olive Garden. I want to go to Cassie's Quesadillas, and he's like, but that place gives me food poisoning. Fine. What about Ronaldo's rigatoni? Ronaldo's not even Italian. He's fucking Polish. Well, what about Luigi's linguine? Luigi's is goddamn Japanese. I don't, what the fuck are you selling me? Next year, you want to go to Mario's macaroni? I do. God damn it, he's also Japanese. And thus the true backstory of Splatterhouse was revealed. So this game is whatever. As far as graphics speaking,
whatever.
Yes. As far as graphics speaking, I'm looking at the arcade version from 1988. I don't know what the Sega Genesis version from 90, 91 looks like, but I'll grade it off of what I see because that's what we did last week essentially. And for a 1988 arcade game, it actually looks pretty damn good. I'll be completely
honest. Yeah, it's actually solid.
Yeah, I feel like the character models are too stupid. So I'm not going to give it a 5. Like I do feel like it has too much silliness with the overly overly done kind of muscles. Like, oh, I'm super muscular now. 80s power fantasy. But I do like the macabre nature of it. And like, thinking about this in 1988, like, goddamn. There are
Yeah,
people who are going to think
it's
this is
it's
real.
it's completely over the top for something in this generation.
Yeah, they're going to think that this shit's real in 1988. Look at this real violence. Ah! So I'm gonna give it a 4 because it's really well done. Graphically speaking, so many little details in a game this old is fantastic. Just realized that like you couldn't see most of what was going on screen.
It's
That's too damn funny.
delightful, isn't it?
Right? So I adjusted it. Oh
Yeah,
well.
delightful. Always the highest quality here on GameCorp. Always.
Just fucking download the show. It's so much easier.
That's right.
So yeah, I'm giving it a 4. What are you gonna give it?
So, I have to say it nails the theme and vibe it's going for very, very much so. Like this is like, even though the rest of the categories we might get into are not great, might necessarily be totally great. This is where it shines, especially for a Halloween type-ish game to play, at least design wise. So, being a fan of the holiday in general, this appeals. Like I love this like 80s 90s slasher vibe it goes for, and how just cheesy and stupid it is, and it nails in every aspect. So I'm gonna go with the 4.
All right. Sound. It has it. I won't take too much away from it. Again, it's from '88. I was 2. This game is literally 31 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll give it a 3 only because I think they did their best, even if it wasn't that great.
Yeah, it's fairly average in that department, to be honest. Like you kind of, I mean, as much as you'd want more, it's like you said, you got to understand the time period with which it's coming from. You know, there's not huge advancements at this point as far as like arcade games go. So, but it's not necessarily bad either. So I guess I don't always want to follow suit with you, but I'm gonna have to go with 3 too. I'm gonna have to do that. Uh-oh. Did we just drop out?
Oh, my bad. I was on mute.
Yeah, you had me worried there for a second. I thought we had dropped the connection or something.
No, I muted myself to sip some coffee, and I was like, oh no, I spilled some on me, and then I realized, oh, it's not that hot. But I said I spilled some coffee on me, and you went, oh no. So I was like, oh, okay, you hear me.
No, it was just a really fucked up coincidence at that point.
Right. So as far as gameplay goes, you can beat this game by spamming buttons. 2.
Yeah, it is about as rudimentary and straightforward as you can possibly get.
Kind
It
of
is
like
literally just.
insulting Matt's cooking abilities.
I have cooking abilities. This is new.
Exactly.
You can't insult something that doesn't exist.
I shall try, though.
You go for it, man. Let me know how that goes. So gameplay on my end, yeah, about as rudimentary and straightforward as games can get, and there's not much to it, not much variety. It's very just, doesn't necessarily mean it's bad, but it's not great either. So can't go 3. I have to go 2. It's just I'm falling in this trap. I know I am.
You're a vagina. Fun factor.
Thank you.
I kind of enjoyed this. This is a game that I would rather explore than necessarily fight things in, if that makes sense. like I want to know the backstory of this house. I want to know the backstory of these rooms, these ghastly features. There's a fucking thing with 2 goddamn chainsaw arms. I want to know all about that. But I don't want to have to play to get there. Like this is my Final Fantasy 15. Like I want to know how it ends. I just don't want to have to actually play it. So
That's always delightful, right?
so I'll give it a 3. And you will too because I know you.
What fun fact? Like fun factor? You're saying?
Yes.
I gotta be honest. While I do enjoy the vibe, it's the gameplay where it just falters for me, and it takes all the fun out of it. It just becomes so rudimentary and boring that I can't go with 3. I'm honestly gonna have to go with the 2.
Just to buck the trend, you dick. And the overall
That's right.
efficacy of the challenging environment. Is the game enjoyable enough to beat? Do you feel like the challenge was worthwhile and fair? How good was the finish? For me, the challenge is like I said, it's a game you can beat by spamming buttons. You know, it's not supposed to be a complicated game. It's supposed to be a quarter muncher. You know, I can't really say that it's worth all that much energy. Again, this is a game that I would rather look at than actually play, so I'm going to give it a 2. I hit the wrong button.
Seemed like it. So yeah. It's this isn't necessarily that. It's not that hard of a game, really. There's not a lot of like spamming you have to do or anything that like really. There's no real challenge per se. It's not really that rewarding though, but I'd say it's fairly average to me, to be honest. I would go 3 actually, just a little higher.
Well, at least that means that we don't have to do with a 0.5 this week. It's a flat out 14 out of 25. Well, it's good. But that does mean that it comes just below the threshold of acceptability. It's a 56%. So you still don't fuck
14.
up. Still done fucked up.
Well, what is it we could possibly do that would get it up to like a good game? What horror game is actually like a solid game you think we could do?
I don't know about horror game, but I do have an idea. Now, bear with me here. It's controversial.
Okay.
It's very controversial. And it goes something like this. What would you do if I sang out of tune? Would you get up and walk out on me? 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. 25 out of 25. Perfect song. Lend me your ear and I'll sing you a song.
Dong, dong.
I don't remember the rest of the lyrics. All I remember is Winnie Cooper's gorgeous, and she still is today. Danica McKellar, you're 45. Marry me. I love you.
And she's smart too. Win-win, man.
Dude, you mean I don't have to do my taxes ever again? About? Okay.
Fuck yeah.
Whee! Get all that Hallmark movie money? Mm-hmm.